My mother is calling me right now. This is my life.
Put on Do Not Disturb.
Oh my God, sorry, Mom. Now she's going to call all three of us.
Yeah, we're literally going to get phone calls. Yeah, it's like, oh, then I can call SD.
We've got an incredible group of talent on the call here today. I'm very excited to get to know HAIM a little bit. Hi, HAIM.
Hi.
How we doing?
Good.
And we've got CHIKA with us. Hi, CHIKA.
What's up?
And Brittany Howard. Hi, Brittany.
How you doing, Harvey?
All three of you as artists are completely genre bending, and you're doing so many different types of music, and you're so proficient at writing and performing different styles of music. Brittany, you actually are nominated over 4 or 5 different categories altogether, like R&B and rock and folk. I mean, I don't even know all the categories you're nominated, but where does that come from? And did you grow up listening to that many different styles of music?
Man, I just like to say it like this. I love everything. I like everything. I find life to be really suspenseful and it's full experiences and emotions and colors and everything is just musical to me. So yeah, all of that belongs in my music. I'm just putting out what I'm experiencing. The fact that I'm nominated across all these genres makes perfect sense to me. That's how I absorb sounds, just whatever it is.
Genreless. Yeah, genreless. And HAIM, do you all think about that when you're going to create a new project? Do you think about, oh, we're supposed to be this genre, or this is kind of the genre that I've been listening to in my car, let's make a record like this? Or do you just do what the tornado produces naturally?
I mean, it's actually funny. I feel like when we were coming up, people never knew where to put us. And I think that was a big problem. They were like, where do you fit? You need to fit somewhere. And we always never looked at it that way. We were like, what do you mean? We just make the music that we make. And if anything, I mean, we're super inspired by drums. I mean, as we said, our dad was a drummer, so percussion and, percussive melodies have always been a super huge part of how we make music.
And then our dad's family is from Bulgaria, so we were listening to a lot of Bulgarian women's choir and those really, 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 really close harmonies.
Dance harmonies.
And so
I thought I was broken for a very long time because it took me a while to figure out harmony, and me and my sisters and my mom would all harmonize together, and then you'd be like, okay, Alana, jump in, and I'd be like, oh,
yeah.
Oh no, I don't know where to come in. For the longest time, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't fit in this family. I can't harmonize.
CHIKA, you grew up listening to Bulgarian harmony records too, right?
Of course. Of course.
We all did.
I think we grew up very similar because I listened to a lot of Nigerian music where it's very percussion heavy and there's these dissonant harmonies that aren't really present in Western music.
In Western music, exactly.
It's not a thing. And so it's funny that you were saying that because I literally last week was in the studio and my engineer looked at me and was like, how do you just hear the harmony? It was like, how do you just find it? And because I am the type of person that you can play a song that I've never heard before. And I guess most musicians get to that point, of course, via training and also doing it. It becomes a muscle memory thing. But since childhood, I think because of what I listen to, I've always been able to pick out harmonies.
Kind of like CHIKA said with harmonies, it's also with rhythm because we grew up listening, our dad's a drummer, but also
drums.
With Bulgarian music, it's the time signatures are so out. And when I hear anything, I can be like, that's in 7/8. Yeah, or that's in 14/3.
I can't do that.
Or da na 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 na, and I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, that's my heritage. Okay, great, I got you.
Does it freak you out realizing now that you are the people that are inspiring thousands of others, millions of other people to want to create music or perform or sing, and also just having an impact on their lives? All three of you on this call have had such a profound impact on culture and society. It's got to freak you out, right?
Are you trying to make us cry?
I think
I wasn't expecting to cry on this Zoom.
I think the craziest thing I think all of us on this call can agree is when you write a song in your bedroom and you just write it because that's how you're feeling that day and you really feel like you need to write, and then you go play it out and people are singing it back to you. I think it's like, wait, I wrote this in my bedroom in my PJs.
Yeah, these are private thoughts.
Like, how did you guys even
Wow.
hear this? Like, it's just, I think that's the most mind-blowing
It's super
thing.
surreal.
Like, our most favorite moment of being a band was the first time we got to go to the UK, and we had never even really left America, period. And we played our first show in the UK.
There's like a video of that particular gig.
We cry.
And
There's a lot of tears.
we hear
We're
that
not criers, but there's a lot of tears.
and all of us turn our backs to the audience because we're embarrassed that we're crying. It was so overwhelming. It was so incredibly overwhelming for us. And I don't think that feeling ever really gets old.
I literally can't relate to any of this yet because I've not been able to just do that. Like that's been.
I cannot.
though.
You will.
It's gonna be incredible.
The hairs on your arm are gonna all stand up.
Those very people that I'm putting out my business for, I didn't get to like touch and agree with them on it yet. Like I'm just kind of waiting for that moment where like the world's open and we're like, yo, remember that project? And even now, like anything that comes out after it.
We'll be there in the front
Yeah,
row.
we can't wait
We'll
to
be
see it.
at the
Please come on
We'll be
stage.
there. We'll all
Come
be
on
there.
stage, please.
It's just switching subjects a little bit from the fun to less fun. We haven't really talked at all about COVID and how that's impacting us. How are you feeling? How are you doing with kind of the state of the world and just your place in it? And how's it affecting you as an artist?
I was just ramping up to do my tour for my record. That got canceled, And then, I'm the type of person, I like to stay busy. I like to work. And then suddenly I was just like forced not to do that. All of us have found ways to kind of be working, but like the lady said, it's not the same. It's not the same not getting that transfer of energy, not getting to perform in front of people, not getting to meet new people, It's got its silver linings. At the same time, I haven't really been home for 10 years. And I'm picking up on little things that I totally forgot about. Like when it's about to be spring, you start hearing the birds singing again and little stuff like that. And I'm just like, wow, that's amazing. Or like, cooking dinner, going to bed in the same bed at nighttime. I've been fortunate enough to not have lost anyone in COVID. And I mean, God bless anyone who has, for real, for real. That's the serious portion of it, is like people out there sick. And that's hard to handle. It's scary. And that's a lot to process too. 2020 has been a wild, wild year.
There was a lot of divisiveness going on in our country for a period through, just some of the social stuff and the racial unrest and a lot of financial insecurity. And I have to say, specifically, your 3 projects were so meaningful to so many people. And I think that's one of the reasons you probably are here and have been nominated, because you made something that was medicine, and you made something that that stirred emotions and affected people's hearts. So I have to say thank you for that on behalf of all the music people around the world. Speaking of live music and people who can do something crazy in live performances, I have to ask you, Brittany, what in the world took place for you to be able to play the dang guitar like you can and to sing like that? Where does that come from? Did you bump your head, or what happened?
I've bumped my head several times, but I don't think there's any correlation. Honestly, I just, like any other kid, I just wanted all the attention in the room. And there was a point in my life growing up when my sister was ill. And so I was left alone as a kid, which I know that sounds super sad. I mean, it was. But also, I learned how to play all these instruments because there was nothing else to do. I created all my own little worlds, little vignettes of what's going on. And I mean, I started writing songs immediately as soon as I could figure out how to play the guitar,
Like, how old was that? What age?
I think I was like 11 when I started playing. And just took it from there. I knew what I wanted to do from a really young age.
And Haim, how old were you all when you all started?
I was put on the drums when I was 2.
Yeah. We all started. Our dad is like a drummer, like
Our
a
dad's a
hobbyist.
drummer.
He his dream growing up was to have a drum set in the living room, and obviously his parents were like, "No, we're not gonna have a drum set in the living room." So when he was old enough to get a house and have kids, he was like, "I'm putting a drum set in the living room."
We're going to have a drum set.
And our mom is a guitarist. So Danielle started playing guitar when she was 5, and I started playing when I was 8, and Danielle surpassed me as a 5-year-old, and I became
Like I'm
super
switching
depressed. And that my 5-year-old sister was exponentially better than me, and I was 3 years older. And then we all just we went to this art school in downtown that's the sister school of the LaGuardia School. And Danielle and Alana studied music there. I studied theater because I was a theater nerd, and
Me too.
but we all still played music, and on the weekends we would just practice. That was just kind of we just play music together.
Chika, I would love to hear how your upbringing, where you grew up, just the geography, how that impacted your music.
My parents are Nigerian, so I had a lot of different sounds in my ear growing up. I listened to a lot of reggaeton. I listened to Nigerian Afro beats and stuff like that, but also grew up in Alabama where everything is very soulful and there's almost a gospel element to a lot of the music that's there, but also being basically an implant because my parents are not from Alabama and I don't have any roots in Alabama. It was very much so trying to find a sound, which is literally reflected in the way that I speak too, because I heard Nigerian accents and I also heard Southern accents, and I sound like neither one of those things. And I spent 21 years in Alabama. So it's very much so my ear is my own. I had to find a sound that felt like what my soul sounds like. And a lot of that is based in where I grew up, is based in my culture, based in my identity and things that I had to figure out over time. Now here I am, the 23-year-old rapper. Who knows how I got here? No one does, but that's the beauty of art.
No one knows.
But yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool that this is what it is now.
That is really cool. It's really good to hear. Brittany, maybe a little bit on the same subject, coming from Alabama, now spending more time in Nashville, if I'm not mistaken. How is that an adjustment for you, or creatively, has it had an impact on how you make music or what your intake is to generate ideas for music?
I don't think anywhere I live will have an impact on how I make music, just because I'm such an internal person. I take everything around me just around me, but what's really going on is inside. That's just how I am. And being from Alabama, yeah, it informed everything that I am. All my memories are there. It's a strange place compared to the rest of the world. It's different. It just has a certain texture to it. And a lot like Chika was talking about, I'm informed by all the different kinds of music I heard because to me, that was my way of connecting with people or communicating with people. It was like, oh, what kind of music you like? Oh, Black Sabbath, what's that? And then finding out what that is and being like, I kind of like that. And just working it in, weaving it into what I do. So anything I've ever heard is just really my education, because I had to teach myself how to do all this stuff. And so you telling me I'm a cool guitar player is crazy, because I'm barely hanging in there, man.
Oh, you are.
I'm trying to figure it out.
No, you are not. You are not.
All of us have pencils and pens and, our phone on us all the time, because you never know when that little, even a sonic idea or a lyric, or you read something in a newspaper and there's a word that then sparks a whole
Triggers,
idea.
Yeah.
So you just have to be prepared. I think that it also is something that you kind of have to work at. I think it's,
do. Yeah.
I mean, we feel like it's kind of like going to the gym, right?
It's a muscle. You have to train it.
I'll be walking around the crib and I'll hear something and I have to grab my phone. And no matter how bad it sounds, I will sing it into my phone. And then months and months later, to the point that I have songs that I have one song that hasn't come out yet. It'll be on my next project. But I remember sitting in a car in Alabama, humming it drunkenly, in the back seat, as my friends are like, yeah, we're about to go upstairs and continue the party. I'm just in the back seat humming this melody. And it's built out into this entire idea that I heard in my head back then in 2017. It is 2021. I'm sure that's a common thing, but to hear it makes me feel very in sync with the universe, because that's not something that was taught. You just know that energy and have to tap into it.
I'm curious, Haim, if any of the three of you want to speak on where do you see the state of the industry right now? I mean, you're all musicians, you're all playing an instrument, you're all extremely talented. Do you feel we're in a good place, heading in a good direction? And on the backside of that, maybe some people that you look up to and respect musically.
The state of like, I keep going back to touring.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's what we're so excited, and like in our dreams, and I think it's going to happen. People are just going to want to see live music so bad. I hope we're going to just be playing our asses off.
It's going to be the roaring 20s 100 years later.
Brittany, it seems to me when I talk to people and they're talking about collaborations or duets or there's an event happening, your name is at the top of a lot of lists of people that want to work with you or sing with you. Or like, oh, it'd be great if we could get Brittany Howard. Who is it on your list that you would like to perform with that you haven't?
I'd say top of my list would be Bjork. I think that would be really wild. And then probably Tyler, the Creator. I really like, I just think the dude's a genius, to be honest with you. And then I probably like to produce beats or something. I produce beats for you, Chika.
Please.
Do
I
it.
just got into production. Oh my God, my stuff's right here. And don't look, it's on the desk.
Oh, for real?
But
Sounds
yeah,
like a collab.
Yeah.
We just made a
Oh,
collaboration.
yeah.
couple things
Let's
coming up.
send some stuff back and forth. I want to check it out.
No. Yay. I'm here for that. Super here for that.
It's that easy. I love it.
I'll
love
play
it.
bass on it.
Yeah,
Yo,
for sure. We
joint
got all
album?
these pro musicians right here.